Hello everyone. I've been wanting to do another video for a little while now, but unfortunately I've been dealing with some obstacles, a lot of flare-ups lately. So when I say flare-ups, I mean specifically full body pain, nerve, muscle, and joint, which a lot of times will cause me to have to stay in bed and not be able to get up and move around and do things that I needed to do. But as of now, I am out of the flare up. I finally got my shoulder injection for my tendonitis, so that's finally calming down as well. Um, so basically, yeah, that's the update. Um, oh, and how did I also forget? Um, on top of that, I have surgery next week to help with endometriosis again. And then the following week, I have to get what is called an ERCP. Basically, the doctor is going to have to go down my esophagus, endoscopically, of course, go down and clip the common bile duct because it was discovered that the cause, well, an extra cause, I should say, of the nausea, the vomiting, the upper right abdominal pain, epigastric pain, all of that was not only the Addison's disease, which is also known as adrenal insufficiency, but it was also due to sphincter of, I believe, Oddi dysfunction. So basically, I got my gallbladder taken out in July 2019, and that was supposed to be the end of that pain. But starting last year, of course, like I said, all of that started coming back. So basically, she thinks that my common bile duct is constricted, meaning it's too tight. So bile isn't flowing the way that it should, so it's causing me more pain. She also thinks that it's sludge in there as well. So she's going to go in, like I said, clip the duct and then clean the sludge out. My point of also including that is basically also the whole point of this video is advocating for yourself. And unfortunately, it's necessary even more so in this day and age. So I will start off by saying, as hard as it may be, do not give up on getting answers for yourself. Because, like I said, my symptoms started June of last year. So June 2021. And I went over a year with no answers, going in and out of the ERs, being mistreated by these doctors, which I'm about to go into detail about, being labeled as drug seeking when I wasn't a drug seeker. All that I needed was relief because I was in severe pain. Being disregarded, being ignored, being treated as if you're lying about your diagnosis and your symptoms. All of that, like I said. So I wasn't diagnosed with adrenal insufficiency until a year later, and then turn around and I was not diagnosed with the sphincter of Oddi dysfunction until technically this month, if you want to say. Really, it was last month. So it took basically a year and a half for me to get a full diagnosis, because what kept happening was I'm expressing to these doctors and I'm like, look, all of this is going on with me. It's not normal. I can't keep medicines down. My medicines aren't properly working. And they do one test, specifically an endoscopy, upper endoscopy. And then they say, oh, it's normal. Nothing's wrong with you. Sorry, can't help you. And then they give up on me. So then I'm stuck dealing with the same symptoms. Then I'm back in the ER. And then it's a endless circle. And so I finally was seen by Dr. Raymond Shake with Baylor St. Luke's. And first time that I saw him in office, he told me, we're going to do this test first. And if it does not show what's wrong with you, we're going to keep going until we find exactly what's the problem. And I remember thanking him and telling him, thank you for believing me and, wanting to get answers. And he looked at me almost like, well, that's what I'm supposed to do. Why are you even having to thank me that way? And the reason why is because this whole year, Like I said, in and out of hospitals, in and out of ERs. Um, Initially, the doctors would be like, oh, okay, well, we'll give you the nausea and the pain medicine and then follow up with your doctor for further testing. But it got to the point, since I was having to go so frequently, um, they decided, oh, she's here just to try to get high off drugs because she's young. Nothing's wrong with her. Um, and so that it got to that point. It really got bad one day when I went in Pearland to the ER. And I was crying in pain, hunched over, because basically at this point, I couldn't keep anything down. Anytime that I tried to take medication or even drink water, it was severe pain. And I keep telling this doctor this. And he's like, I'm not giving you anything because I looked you up and I saw that you have several pain management doctors, which is a lie. I only have one. And he said that I was in and out of the ERs just for pain meds. And I remember crying. I called my parents and I'm like, this man is like basically yelling at me and calling me a drug addict, all this stuff. And my dad said, from now on, you need to start recording these doctors so that you have proof of the mistreatment. And so thankfully, because of him, I went back. Even though as hard as it was going to be, I went back. And to catch him, I said, so can you say why again I can't have anything for pain? So he started on again. He said he wasn't risking his license for me. He's like, oh, you have 5 doctors you get pain medicine from anyways, just go to them. And he was very rude, which I don't. I said, no, I have one pain management doctor. And he basically he had no reason to go and try to look up a random history of me because I hadn't even been at that hospital that often. So basically several stories like that. One doctor argued me down to try to make it seem like I was trying to get Dilaudid, which is the strongest pain medicine there is. And I wasn't. She had asked me what I was given the last time I was at the ER, and I told her. And so she takes it and she's, oh, you're just trying to get high. That's what your age group does. Y'all come in here and try to get high. And these doctors kept doing this to me. And they were saying it up front eventually. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm stuck in severe pain. They can't figure out what's wrong with me. My oral medications aren't working. This thing is basically cyclical. It's not every day. And yeah, so she started arguing me down. And then for some reason, something told me to go back and look into my medical notes extensively after the last time that I was at St. Luke's ER, because the man there, he was very rude. For instance, I came in with adrenal insufficiency that day. I had a crisis and I had already taken my emergency shot. I came in and he says, what brings you to the ER today? And I said, adrenal crisis. And he says, well, I'm glad you have a diagnosis, but what are you here for? And he says it rudely. And even my sister was with me and she looks up like, what is wrong with this guy? And so the whole time, he gave me fluids, IV fluids, and IV nausea medicine. And I kept telling him I was in severe pain. He never would send anything. And so after a while, he's like, oh, you can go ahead and try to take your oral pain medicine. So I said, okay, I'll try. And I tried. It came right back up because I was still throwing up. I told him this, and he decides to basically put in the notes that because I didn't get what I wanted from him, I lied about throwing up my medication, which wasn't true. He also put in my notes that my vitals were normal the whole time and I was comfortable the whole time, which wasn't true. My blood pressure was like 155/91. My heart rate was up because I was in severe pain, like I said. And he said that I was comfortably on my phone the whole time, which was not the truth as well. I was on my phone because I was pressing record because of how he was treating me. And lo and behold, since he didn't give me proper treatment, I didn't get an extra steroid dose or anything. it wasn't even 10 minutes after I got discharged that I went right back into crisis. Ended up having to go to another ER where they finally treated me right. So basically, he was the one who kind of incriminated himself because he mentioned about how I need to look at the notes of what my doctors are saying. And so when I went back and looked at the notes, I saw where they were put in that I was drug seeking, that they were suspicious of me being drug seeking, as if I was lying about my pain and whatnot. And I remember I was very devastated. I was heartbroken because I'm like, I'm really in pain here. I'm really suffering, and these people are mistreating me because they can't figure out what's wrong with me. So instead of saying, oh, we'll try to make you comfortable at least until something's figured out, they just assumed nothing was wrong with me. All of my scans would come back normal. So they treated me, like I said, like I was lying. Instead of knowing as a medical professional that several things do not pop up on imaging. Example A, endometriosis. My endometriosis was stage 4, did not show up on any imaging at all. And once they cut me open, it was everywhere. But basically, I was trying to go to that point to say, a lot of them didn't care. I was just another number to them. They look at me on the outside, I look healthy, and they didn't even pay attention to my medical history. They didn't look at all my chronic conditions. They didn't reach out to many of my doctors. And even when I would go and report these individuals, I reported them to the Texas Medical Board. The Texas Medical Board didn't do anything. So I'm stuck, kind of not having justice for myself. And then on top of that, the Pearland doctor put in my diagnosis, my list of diagnoses, that I have drug-seeking behavior. So if I go to an HCA hospital, that's on my list. So if I'm in severe pain and I'm there for any reason, they'll probably not give me anything, just because of that man's false assumption. And because of the one false assumption of the doctor that put, in her words, that she was suspicious of a secondary gain for opioids, all of the doctors following her at St. Luke's decide to assume that I was drug seeking as well. And it's very devastating to not be believed. It almost hurts worse than suffering through the pain, the physical pain that I was in. And I mean, I had to go through all of this, being mistreated, not being heard, being disregarded, not being believed, all of that, because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. How is that my fault? It's not my fault at all. So my point of this video, and I'm sorry that it went on so long, is to say, do not stop advocating for yourself. And unfortunately, especially if you don't know the doctor that you're seeing, you might have to, press record on voice memos or something on your phone, because they will go and mistreat you, say all these horrible things, and then lie and say that they didn't do it. And the medical board clearly was taking the doctor's words over mine, despite the fact that I had proof, actual audio. Specifically, I had audio of a doctor making an inappropriate joke about me and radiation. So basically, he said he wasn't going to do a CT scan because he didn't want to expose me to further radiation. I said, okay, that's fine, I understand. But he steps away to talk to his physician assistant and tells her, I'm not going to do a CT scan because she's going to glow in the dark. And they both laugh about it. And the physician assistant says, I know, right? I'm not even 10 feet away from them. I don't know what they were thinking. I heard everything. And I sent that to the medical board. And they said, the doctor says that he didn't make that joke, even though I had audio proof. So my point of this, like I said, do not give up, fight for yourself, and take action. When these medical professions mistreat you, So basically, I'm in the process of trying to get some type of justice for myself. So if anybody has any recommendations about anyone that I can send a letter to regarding my struggles and my experience, please let me know. I've tried to contact the news. They haven't called me or anything. So that's where I am now, because I'm not working. I can't work because I have like a million health issues right now. And nothing was figured out for me for so long that I was stuck with any little bit of money that I had was going towards ER visits, towards doctor visits, procedures, all of that. All because they didn't listen to me and they didn't investigate further. But I would like to say thank you specifically to Dr. Raymond Shake, again, from Baylor, because he's the one who referred me to the specialist that's going to do the ERCP. And because of those two, unfortunately, I can't remember her name. I just remember her first name is Tara, Dr. Tara, through Baylor St. Luke's. I'm grateful for her and Dr. Shake, as well as Dr. Atrium from River Oaks Hospital, because if it weren't for them, I wouldn't have had a diagnosis. So I really appreciate that, because they believed me and they fought for me. And on top of that, the doctors at Grace ER, as well as Dr. Ibarra from Signature Care, and Dr. Amro from Silver Lake ER. The whole time they treated me and they said, look, I believe you. I can tell you're in pain, so I know I can't fix it, but I'll at least try to get your symptoms under control. And that meant the world to me because of how many times I have been disregarded. So again, I am sorry. I see now that it's gone past 17 minutes. But I felt that it was really necessary to share all of this with y'all. Thank you for everyone that's supported me and has been continuing to support me. It has not been easy. I've been dealing with, like I said, a lot of chronic pain lately. Seems like my body's fighting against me. But I'm here, I'm still here. So thank you all for watching. And forgot to mention, thanks to steroids, my face is swollen right now. And as you can see, not too close, unfortunately, can't really see the detail, but across here is where my autoimmune rash is trying to form as well. Story of my life. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and thank you for your continued support again. Bye-bye.